Hi everyone, thank you for joining us here on KREM News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti, and we do begin with breaking news at this noon hour. The shooting on the campus of Florida State University. Here's what we know right now. At least 6 people have been taken to the hospital with injuries. CBS News reporting the suspected shooter was also shot after exchanging gunfire with police. They are now in custody. The shooting happened about 3 hours ago at noon Eastern time in the area of the Student Union, again on the Florida State campus. Video shows students running out of the building, and we do continue to track new developments with this story, and we'll have updates coming up throughout the afternoon on KREM.com. Also breaking here at noon, the Washington State Supreme Court has overturned Spokane's Proposition 1. That was a ballot initiative that banned camping in most of the city by making it illegal to camp within 1,000 feet of parks, schools, and daycares. Now, in the ruling released just a few hours ago, the Supreme Court ruled the initiative should never have been on the ballot at all because it, quote, exceeds the proper scope of the local initiative power. About 75% of Spokane voters, however, voted in favor of Prop 1 back in 2023. However, the law was really not enforced over concerns from the city that doing so would violate a federal court ruling which blocks cities from enforcing anti-camping laws when there are not enough shelter beds available. So Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown sharing a statement following the ruling. In that statement, she says, quote, "The Washington State Supreme Court's decision regarding Proposition 1 offers important clarity on the legal boundaries of local initiative powers and reinforces the distinction between legislative and administrative actions." The mayor adds that the city's unlawful camping ordinance remains in effect. All right, this is coming in new at noon. President Trump is lashing out at Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell over his comments that tariff uncertainty could pose a risk to the U.S. economy. So we're taking a live look right now at Wall Street, where stocks open lower today. As Natalie Brand reports, the White House continues to defend its tariff policy.
The Trump administration says the message it's trying to convey is that it's ready to make deals with countries that take these trade negotiations seriously. And the White House is looking at today's talks with Italy as a possible bridge to Europe.
President Trump met with Italy's prime minister at the White House today to discuss tariffs. The president has been touting negotiations with trading partners and attacking Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell for highlighting the risk and uncertainty around the policy.
The level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated, and the same is likely to be true of the economic effects.
Powell says that could include higher inflation, slower growth, and higher unemployment. Though he didn't use the term, those factors raise concern about stagflation.
It's a difficult place for central banks, to be in.
President Trump on Truth Social slammed Powell's report as wrong, saying the Fed chair's termination can't come fast enough. Powell's term as chair expires in 2026.
The Trump administration is also facing a new lawsuit over tariffs from California. The suit contends the president lacks the authority to unilaterally impose tariffs.
No state is poised to lose more than the state of California.
Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom argues his state, the world's 5th largest economy with industries from tech to agriculture, stands to lose billions. The White House continues to defend its tariff policy, calling it a, quote, historic effort to address the national emergency of a persistent trade deficit.
President Trump on social media called yesterday's meeting with Japan's top trade representatives productive. He also said that he had a productive call with Mexico's president, but we don't yet have any actual details of firm trade deals, and we don't have an update on whether there's been any sort of movement towards talks with China. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The federal government has cut the largest grant in University of Idaho history. The $59 million grant helped Idaho producers develop sustained agricultural practices. It was terminated because it lacked the new criteria from the United States Department of Agriculture, including a requirement that 65% of funds go directly to producers. The university has now until June 20th to resubmit a proposal.
Well, it was certainly a quite windy day yesterday. Wind gusts reaching upwards of 45 miles per hour across the region. Certainly heard reports of blowing dust and reductions in visibility across central Washington. Maybe a few twigs or small tree branches down around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene as well from yesterday's storm system, a dry but windy one. Since then, a lot calmer out here, and the sunshine still remains overhead. Absolutely clear on both the radar and the satellite layer. It almost looks like a blank map, but don't worry, the instrumentation isn't wrong. It's not an error. It is quite literally just that clear and that sunny overhead. So despite a colder start to the day, we're still going to end up near average in terms of high temperatures. About 59 here in Spokane. Should be plenty of 60s across central Washington today, where it will be just a little bit warmer. But yeah, sunshine through and through, though it does make it once again clear and then decently cool again at night. So coming up, we'll show you just how cold temperatures will drop yet again for this evening and have an updated look at this Easter weekend's forecast and when some rain showers will be back in place. So your full forecast is coming up in about 10 to 12 minutes.
Thomas, thank you. Happening now, the WSU Colleges of Nursing and Veterinary Medicine are hosting a free healthcare clinic for pets. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones explains what this event is all about.
So this is a clinic that's designed to help people who may not have everyday access to healthcare or the questions that they need answered. And it's happening right now until 3 p.m. You can come down here to the campus of Washington State University in Spokane and get some of those questions answered, along with gaining some valuable everyday resources. I've got a list of some of those resources that are available. But again, if you're either experiencing low income, living in a shelter, or transitional housing, this is an opportunity to get some of those needs met. Pet supplies are going to be available in the form of collars, dog and cat food, blankets, leashes, treats, and more. In terms of personal care items, there's going to be toothbrushes and toothpaste, deodorant, hair combs and ties, socks and hats. Other personal care products will also be available. Again, these resources available right now until 3 p.m. at the WSU Spokane Campus Center for Clinical Research and Simulation. You can find that near the STA bus stops off of Spokane Falls Boulevard. But for now, reporting in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.